Welcome to our channel Lightling Vision. We're in part 3 of our subject on personality. So we all want to have a better collectivity, but we need to work on our personality. Welcome, Mother. So we do have a lot of work to do in order to get a better collectivity.
Yes, but I will start even before that. That means that you would like to have a better community or society or collectivity. And that's in the first place not sure for everybody. Because if we are really honest, most of us only want a better life for themselves. And this is very confronting. They will put wrap a paper around it and tell they're working for society. But many of us know, if we look how the person behaves, that the first thing the person thinks about is himself. What others think of him, or what he's getting each month on his in his pocket or on his bank account. That seems so basic when I say it, but that is the bare truth of life and the difficulty of the personality. Becoming a non-personality or a transformed personality is very difficult, because you have to give up all those lower tendencies of thinking in a very subtle way about yourself. Of course, you can say to me, yes, but at the highest level, living in a community that works smoothly, where everybody is happy, it's also in my interest that things go that way. So I cannot be disinterested fully, because the wealth and the well-being of the society is my well-being. That's true, absolutely true. And that is perhaps the only reason why we end up being personalities most of the time, working for the society, even though we are not impersonal. Because we know somehow that the well-being of the society reflects on us. We are living in this society. But the difficulty is there still. Why are many societies nowadays and all through history very often not working? Some of them worked. Yes, I will make the difference afterwards. Why so many societies, so many cultures, so many civilizations, so many countries end up in chaos all through history, with peaks of wealth and well-being perhaps, and then they go down again? Well, in the first place, because it's very difficult to find leaders that have overcome fully the desires of the lower nature. That is one of the main problems, and we cannot condemn them for that. It's part of their road, but the problem is there. A country in the best way can only be well guided by guides, by governing people that have sufficient distance toward themselves, that have sufficiently given up many basic desires that can be above money, above all kinds of wealth, above admiration, above all kinds of types of vanity, above sexuality even. Who are at this moment in history, who have attained this point in their development? Very few, almost none. And that's one of the reasons why there are so many problems. Neither the countries themselves and all the individuals that make up those countries, nor those who govern those countries, are sufficiently developed from a spiritual point of view to be detached from their own basic instinct. So in one way or another, it will always come up again. And that is a big problem. How can we solve it? Well, all the difficulties we go through, little by little, bring us in a better direction, but that can take a lot of time. Perhaps one good thing should be when more and more people become aware that we need that kind of leaders. But that's a difficult point, because those who govern would like to keep their place. And somehow they know perhaps they have not overcome essential points in themselves. They drink, yeah. I don't want to say we have to get rid of them. I mean, I'm not a politician, and I have no aim for that. But I only stipulate, I only underline the problem. I say, yes, as so many individuals in life are still struggling with many things, controlling them, being governed by people who do their best. I think everybody does its best, his or her best. But the truth is we are still all governors and those who are citizens being controlled by aspects of our lives. And that makes evolution so difficult. And I think the first thing, as I already said, we have to do is perhaps to take note of it, to say, yes, this is the truth. We are controlled by other things in our lives. And that's tricky business. Perhaps you can't solve it immediately. But the first step to the solution is to see it. Now, this process has already been it's on its way for many decades. People start saying, yes, but a politician, he is not alone. He's governed by the moneymakers, he's governed by the bankers, he's governed by the economists, he's governed by all kinds of parties that have their interest in what he says or what he does. And that's true. That's true. This is a collective becoming conscious of the difficulty. We are not alone, and we are guided by others, whether we want it or not. A Mr. President has to please his electors, those who have elected them. So he has to speak what they want to hear. Well, he doesn't have to, but if he wants to keep his public, he does. Is this a good thing? It depends on what the public wants. If they want good things for the whole of the community, perhaps it's a good thing. If they want egoistical things, I don't know, but that's a good thing. And this president also is governed by those who have financial interests, economical interests. But the main point is not what the Mr. or Mrs. President is doing or not doing, but how it's going on in your own life. Because what can you reproach on those who govern if in your own life it's the same thing? If your wife or your husband is telling you what you should or should not accept in your working place, well, you can expect exactly the same thing. When we are talking about a chairman or a president or whatever, in their lives it's exactly the same. There are others behind him who tell what Papa has to say or Mother has to say, even though this Papa or Mother has a very important role to play. Others are telling them what they should or should not do. Well, that is the world of the post-personality. And becoming free of that kind of influence is the road of the West. So that one day man can speak up for the truth. in all the truth he feels, that comes from above, from his own soul. Because on the level of the soul, we all agree. But because the soul is working for the common good. And the personality, unfortunately, always has a part of interest in it, for herself, egoistical. That's the difficulty in life. We are talking through 3 emissions about personality and individuality. And we're only in fact talking about the personal interest you have in certain situations in your life, whether it's your personal life or for the common good. And what's the amount of interest you have, and are you aware of it? And can you say no if it's necessary for the common good? That's what we're talking about. Well, we cannot be there in one step, but we can start by seeing this as an important factor in positive development for the individual and society. Knowing where you are in this situation with your personal business and where we are talking about the common good.
So we can ask, is this what I'm going to do? Is it good for just me, or is it good for the whole?
Yes, knowing that in fact you're trying to influence things in the way it works because you have an interest in the situation. But is this for everybody? Or is it just you that wants things to go like that?
Or like you said one day to me, you saw someone doing something and you thought it was you thought it was funny, and you said one should always ask herself, what would happen if 50% would be doing this thing?
Yes. I've been working in a community part of my life, in communities, and when I was 28, it was my first community, and there was an elderly woman who approached me, and she said, now listen, there's one basic rule that I can teach you right away. Before you do anything here, ask yourself, what would happen if 50 persons would do the same thing as you do? Well, that was a good rule.
Yeah. So was this the last one for the personality?
Oh, the personality, she makes part of any sauce that I dress. But for the moment, I think we have to give it time to digest.
Absorb and yes.
To digest.
Yes. So thank you. So we'll make more efforts before we act or before we have any desire to reflect on, is this just good for me, or would this be good, profitable for the whole community? Thank you, Mother.
Okay.
So please subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the next video, and listen to the nice song that will follow this video, and it's by the group of Mother, and we'll see you very soon. Have a good day.
adiha. Belfast ha where apes ha ma fiha. Belfast ha where apes ha ma fiha. Rat truk nefse what to adiha. Rat truk nefse what to adiha. Belfast ha where apes ha ma fiha. Belfast ha where apes ha ma fiha. تترك نفسك وتوعدها. لا تترك نفسك وتوعدها. Belfast ha where apes ha fiha. Belfast ha where apes ha fiha. Belfast ha where apes ha ma fiha. Belfast ha where apes ha ma fiha. La تترك نفسك وتوعدها. لا تترك نفسك وتوعدها. Belfast ha where apes ha ma fiha. Belfast ha where apes ha ma fiha. لا تترك نفسك وتوعدها. لا تترك نفسك وتوعدها. Belfast ha where apes ha ma fiha. Belfast ha where apes ha ma fiha. Belfast ha